Welcome back, viewers. Today we will be testing the range identifier indicator.
But before we do, if you have not watched my first video and the videos after that, you need to go do that right now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team, and as a team, we will all profit from it when we are done. You can find a link to the first video down in the description below. You can also find a link to our Discord server, so that way we can all discuss testing indicators and building our trading system. And lastly, you can find a link below to TradingView. If you sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money using the link below.
Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the range identifier indicator. But before I do, I wanted to put the indicator scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested 86 indicators, and out of those 86 indicators, 28 of them have been winners, which means that they have met or exceeded the 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we have set for them. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that. But as we are working on building the best trading system possible, you could take any one of those 28 indicators and get out there and start potentially profitably trading the markets with them now. So go back, watch those videos, make a list of those indicators, and get out there and see what you can do with them. But stick with this here as we work on maximizing your trading profits. All right, so today's indicator is the range identifier indicator. All right, as I said, today's indicator will be the range identifier indicator. It's pretty simple setup here. So I've went in and I have modified this slightly. So if I set this back to the default, you can see that it's super faded out right here, and basically showing this this line here, this indicator line. The two dotted lines would indicate a ranging zone, and so the zone where this indicator attempts to call out ranging markets. And then you have this line indicator, which we have seen in a few other indicators before, that switch the line switching color like this. Now, I'm not too fond of this line, and I'm not too fond of the ranging zone. I mean, by default, the way I'm going to test it, it still is using this ranging zone area, which is fine. I mean, like I've said in many videos, we definitely need an indicator that can filter out some of the choppiness, some of the ranging markets. And so I'm definitely not going to knock on one that attempts to do that. What I don't like is I don't like this line here, because too often I have found, and I've even shown it, I forget which indicator it was off the top of my head, it was a line just like this that changed colors, and they tend to repaint and do weird things sometimes. And so what I am actually going to do is I'm going to go into the background color, and I am going to bump up the transparencies to 50% on the green and 50% on the red. The gray I am not worried about. And so as you can see now, we start to get this really good visualized areas on the background here that go green and red. And then the gray area here is just, no-go zones, right? And so that I believe will help to combat the repainting aspect of this indicator. I think because what it's doing is it's kind of in essence, it's not giving the signal until one candle has closed past kind of the point where it changed colors, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess you could do that. I guess you could, if the indicator changed colors, the line, you could then wait for one candle to close after that change and then enter. But I feel like this background kind of filters that out and keeps it from repainting. So that is why I think this might work better. Now, I have not thrown this on a really low time frame, like a 1 minute, and really sat and watched to see if it repaints. But from my understanding, it doesn't. From what I've seen, it doesn't appear to repaint. And so we're going to give it a go like this. When the background turns green, it's going to be a signal to go long. When it turns red, that's going to be a signal to go short. Pretty simple. And then we have this area, like I said, down the middle here. It's going to act as a ranging zone. And that is how we are going to test it. We are off to the races here. And as you see, I mean, it does a pretty decent job of keeping us out of this choppy ranging zone here. Then we get a break here. Boom, shoots up. Let's see what we get. Yep, just slightly over the 100 pip mark. And so where are we at? Where's my line? There it is. That's what I'm looking for. All right. And so there we go. That is our first trade, and it is a good trade. It got us in to the take profit. All right. Let's see here. That is trade 2 right there. And I do believe we hit target on that one as well. I don't think this wick right here, this tail, stopped us out. Nope. It did not. And so trade number 2 and another win. So what I like about this again is it does filter out this choppiness. And so often what we see in an indicator is, especially when we are trading like a moving average, for example, is that it will whip you in and out and in and out and in and out in a ranging market. It'll just pinball you in and out and in and out and in and out. I mean, you'll literally, and I've done this before, I've set and opened a trade, long, next day, close the trade, go short, next day, close the trade, go long, next day, close the trade, go short. I'm not exaggerating at all. I have absolutely done that whenever I was playing with a moving average price break, and I just set and took losing trade after losing trade after losing trade after losing trade after losing trade. I mean, I feel like at that point you're not even even logically trading. You're just gambling at that point. I mean, you're just making a 50-50 guess. And it just so happens that you are consistently on the wrong side of that 50-50 guess. And so super frustrating, and really just tears down on your trading confidence. And so, all right, let's see here. So we're going to treat this just like we have been the rest of them. We're going to pretend we hit our first profit target and we took all of our trade off of the table here, which I've said this in quite a few other videos. That's not how we would actually trade this. If this was a live system and we were actually trading this with a real account or even a paper trading account to do forward testing in a real market, then we wouldn't take all of our profit off the table at the first take profit. I've done a video explaining this in one of my earlier videos on managing your position and managing your risk and stuff like that. But basically what we would do, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I've had a few people mention it here recently. And so basically what we would do is, let's say we entered this trade. Let's see. So do this. This was the signal candle here. We entered on the open of this candle here. And so the open would be 1.31307 technically. So then we would set half of whatever size we're taking. And so whatever size your account is going to dictate the percentage of risk that you can take, which then dictates the size of the position you can be in. Again, that was all described in that video. And so you would enter your position, and whatever position size you enter in on, you would then set half of that position to close out at the first take profit zone. So in this case, at 100 pips, half of our position would close out. And then of course you set your stop at 150. And so at this point, one of two things is going to happen. Either the currency pair is going to go in your favor and hit your 100 pip take profit, or it's going to go against you and it's going to go down and stop out your entire position, right? Now let's pretend it goes up in your favor and it hits the first take profit. It closes out half of that position. Now what do? You take the stop and you move it to break even. And so that would be at the price you entered in this trade. So you would move your stop to 1.31307. Okay? And you would allow the other half of your trade to run until your exit indicator tells you to close out of the trade, or until it comes back down and stops you out at break even. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Like I've had a few people ask me and ask me to clarify it a little bit. And I know when I am testing this, whenever I'm testing indicators, what I say is that we are going for the first take profit, and we're going to pretend we close out the entire trade. And that's just for testing purposes. We don't have a full system. We don't have other indicators filtering out bad entries. We don't have an exit indicator telling us when we should exit the trade, and so on. We're in a very beginning stage of building our trading system. And so in the very beginning stage of building our trading system, we have to adapt our testing process accordingly. And so eventually you would get to the point to where you have a full system and you are forward trading it, and you are using a paper trading account, a test account, and you are actually trading like you would if you had live money, real money in the market, and you're using your exits, you're using your volume or volatility indicators, you're using your entries and your second entry and baseline and all the different parts of the system, right? And so it's a full system that is working. And so in that aspect, you can now trade like you are on live money and you are actually testing the entire system. But when we are testing individual indicators like this, we are basically just looking for a baseline. We're looking for a baseline indicator that tells us go long, go short. And that's what we're looking for at this point. And so what I say is that we're just going to pretend at our first take profit, 100 pips, for example, on this one, we're just going to stop out the entire trade. And then if we get another signal like this one right here, then we can take this as another valid entry to go long. Now, in reality, it looks like if we would have really been testing this on a real system, we would most likely still be in this trade. This trade would still be running off the original entry. But again, we don't have a full system, and so it's too challenging to test that right now. It is also, and I know a few of you in the Discord channel have asked about testing exit indicators. And I'm not opposed to testing exit indicators. The problem is, it's kind of like it's kind of like running before you crawl. And so we don't have enough of a system in place yet to really be able to put an exit indicator to the test. And so that's why I've been avoiding really doing anything with exit indicators yet, because the testing process at this point just is not conducive to testing exit indicators. And so it's not that I'm ignoring you guys. It's not that I don't want to test them. It's just we need to get more pieces of the puzzle in place before we can really start narrowing in on what we can use for exits. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at this point. And yeah, I wanted to throw that out there so everybody kind of understood the process and why we're doing what we're doing, and why we're doing it in this order and not jumping around. Now, I know it's super frustrating because there's some of you out there who are really wanting to push forward and move ahead really fast, and that's totally fine. I get that. Like I get that. I'm the same way. I really want things to go. I don't want to sit back and spend an eternity testing indicators. And so for some of you, it can be challenging because you're just like, come on, man, I have a good entry indicator. Now I need a good exit indicator. But I assure you that we will eventually get to that point, just not quite yet. Now, with that being said, you are more than welcome to, start tweaking out exit indicators on your own. I definitely encourage everybody to do that, to be a part of testing indicators and tweaking and playing with indicators, and seeing what you can get out of them. Let's see, where is this guy going? Here. Did we get, no, we have not got 100 pips out of it. And boom, there it goes. But yes, I've thrown out a few suggestions again in the Discord channel. If you have not joined the Discord channel, I highly urge you to do so. There recently has been a lot of good activity in our Discord server. A lot of good people bouncing ideas off of each other and sharing things and testing things and really giving a lot of value that is hard to translate here on the channel. And so if you have not joined our Discord, please go do that. It is absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything, and all it is just live chatting between all of us as we discuss indicators and test indicators and work on building our trading system. Alright, I'm plugging along here, getting close to the end of the year. Not too far off now. Try to bang out these last ones. This video is going to be super long because I went on the rant. But I tried to answer as many questions as I can for you guys. I really feel like some channels give a lot of good information, but they also do a lot of gatekeeping. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically, information gatekeeping is where you have learned something, you have learned a particular skill or trait of some sort, and you feel like because you spent a lot of effort and a lot of time learning it on your own, that you're not going to give it out to anybody for free, that they need to also go through the same process and they also need to experience things on their own and test things on their own with little to no help from the person who holds the key to that information. I learned this from, don't know if any of you, I'm sure some of you out there know of him, Adam Savage. And so he was one of the hosts from Mythbusters. And if you are into Mythbusters, making things, DIY type projects, just kind of nerding out on things, then definitely look up his channel. It is Tested, Adam Savage's Tested, I believe it is. But anyways, he was one of the hosts, one of the two main hosts on Mythbusters, which was one of my all-time favorite shows. And he speaks about that a lot because he actually worked at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic. And so if you don't know what ILM is, it is basically the company. It was the company that was founded by George Lucas when he was creating the Star Wars movies. So him and his team could basically test and tweak and try different special effects and create all the different special effects for Star Wars, and then on to the other movies that George Lucas worked on. And in at ILM, Adam Savage actually worked for George Lucas at ILM at one point, and he worked on, I believe, Star Wars episodes 1 and 2. I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. And he worked as a special effects designer, designing little props and different odds and ends, whatever they needed him to do, basically. And in the builder community is what they call it. When you are building things, or like Comic-Con, they do like their own suits. They build like replicas of Iron Man out of foam and poly. You know, I'm using the wrong terms, I'm sure, because I've never done it myself, but these different polystyrenes and stuff like that. It's really cool stuff. And nonetheless, in that industry, there is a lot of knowledge that people discover on their own and they create on their own. I mean, you got to think George Lucas, when he was creating the special effects for Star Wars, was literally creating these special effects that they never been done before. He was pioneering these special effects. And you get that a lot in that industry, where people are pioneering new ways of doing things. And there are some in that industry who are not willing to disclose their secrets and the ways that they found to do whatever it is that they've discovered, right? And that is called gatekeeping. They have the information and they are the gatekeeper of that information, and they refuse to share it with other people. And you get this, sometimes, because people get this mentality where they think, well, I had to discover it on my own, and so I'm not going to give it away. You need to go discover it on your own. Why should I just give away this information to you that was so hard for me to discover? And honestly, I feel like that is a horrible mentality to have. Why am I going on this rant? Well, I'm going on this rant because some people have mentioned other YouTube channels that my channel is similar to, and in our Discord server, that's where they mentioned it. I've remarked that they are absolutely correct. That I learned a good deal of information from these other channels, but my biggest problem with those channels is that they were big gatekeepers, and they basically gave you little breadcrumbs to kind of eat off of, and basically said, I did it on my own. Now you need to go do it on your own. Here's some, rough information to follow, but you need to discover your own path. And while I find that to be, noble that, people want you to discover your own path, I also find it, kind of ridiculous that you can assume everybody is going to follow the same path you took and get to the same conclusion you got to. I mean, the whole point of discovering new information is that the person who discovers it passes it on to a next generation who can then build on top of that information, who then passes it that information that was built upon, the new information, they pass it on to the next generation who then builds upon that information again. And it really creates a dynamic of change and progress, right? And I feel like if everybody, held a secret information that they discovered and they're not going to tell anybody, and you need to go discover it on your own, then you run into the scenario to where we are forever spinning our wheels in place, and that's not fair. I feel like if you hold information that can literally change people's lives, it's kind of unfair to be the gatekeeper of that information. And so, all right, this video is getting super long. I wanted to throw that information out there as well because, like I said, some of you have mentioned that in our Discord server, and that's my stance, and that's why I decided to create this channel, because I wanted to. I stutter a little bit there. I wanted it to be something different. I wanted it to be able to take the same basic characteristics of those other cool channels that I learned off of, but I wanted it to, not have those super frustrating aspects that are like, I've spent months and months and months and months and years of my time trying to unlock the one secret way this person discovered this information, and you feel like you never get anywhere. And so, all right, back to our indicator. Enough of my rambling on here. All right, let's add it up here. It looks like it did a relatively decent job. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 18 trades, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We have 12 winning trades. All right, and so that will definitely meet the 60% criteria. Not too bad in my opinion. It gave us a reasonable number of trades in a 1 year time. I mean, 18 trades, that's pretty decent. It's not over trading, it's not under trading. It's not the best percentages that we've had. I feel like maybe a little bit of tweaking could do us a little better, but I don't know. I mean, you run into a pitfall where you start tweaking things, you start losing winners along with your losers, and so. But yeah, not bad in all. Like I said, it definitely go on the yes list, and yeah, we'll move on to the next indicator from here.
If you have not already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you are notified anytime I post a new video. As part of the team, it's important that you are seeing the new videos as they come out so you know what it is that we are discussing and what indicators we are testing, have tested, and have not tested. Also, like usual, there is a link below in the description to the Discord server. You can join us on Discord so that way we can further discuss the indicators and have discussions as we move forward building our trading system. And lastly, like usual, there is a link below to TradingView. If you like what you see whenever I use TradingView, and you are interested in signing up for TradingView, if you use the link below and sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money. So, all right, everybody, I will see you